Imagine millions of Americans, already struggling to make ends meet, suddenly facing empty plates and growling stomachs. This isn't a dystopian novel. It's the chilling reality looming over the country as the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, formerly known as food stamps, teeters on the brink of collapse. If the federal government shutdown persists, nearly 42 million people could lose access to this vital lifeline on November 1st, potentially triggering the greatest hunger catastrophe in America since the Great Depression, warns Joel Berg, CEO of Hunger Free America. And this is the part most people miss. This crisis isn't solely about political gridlock. It's about real people, like Sarah Carlson, facing impossible choices. 2 decades ago, Sarah, a single mother of 3 reeling from a traumatic event, relied on SNAP to feed her children. "I wouldn't have been able to afford to live," she recalls, now an operations manager and board member of a food bank. While SNAP provided temporary relief, the government cut her off after she secured a better-paying job, forcing her back into the precarious world of food insecurity. SNAP isn't just a handout. It's a crucial safety net for working families trapped in low-wage jobs, seniors living on fixed incomes, and individuals with disabilities. Participants, who must earn at or below 130% of the federal poverty line, receive an average of $187 per month, a modest sum that makes a world of difference. But here's where it gets controversial. While Republicans point fingers at Democrats for the potential loss of benefits, those working on the front lines of food insecurity argue this narrative is misleading. Donald Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act already slashed nearly $187 billion from SNAP funding through 2024, according to congressional estimates. The Department of Agriculture has already sent a chilling letter to SNAP directors, warning of impending funding depletion and instructing them to halt payments until further notice. Over 200 Democratic representatives are urging the USDA to utilize contingency funds to prevent this disaster, emphasizing the moral imperative to ensure families can put food on the table. Democrats, however, are holding firm, refusing to pass a funding resolution unless it includes provisions to maintain healthcare subsidies under the Affordable Care Act, set to expire at year's end. A USDA spokesperson, in a statement criticized as inaccurate, blamed Democrats for the impending SNAP cuts, claiming they prioritize health care for undocumented immigrants. This accusation is false. Undocumented immigrants are ineligible for ACA subsidies. Joel Berg, while primarily focused on food insecurity, supports the Democrats' stance, arguing that the fight for healthcare subsidies has grave repercussions for the very people his organization serves. There's significant overlap between those receiving healthcare subsidies and those relying on SNAP, he explains. Brittany, a 38-year-old home health nurse and mother of 3 from Kentucky, exemplifies this intersection. Working 35 to 40 hours a week, she relies on SNAP to cover essential groceries, dispelling the harmful stereotype of benefit recipients as lazy. "It's not like I receive benefits and don't work," she asserts. Without SNAP, she'd be forced to work weekends, sacrificing precious time with her children. Ironically, despite her reliance on SNAP, Brittany supports Trump and blames Democrats for the shutdown, believing they're unwilling to compromise. This crisis raises profound questions. Are we willing to sacrifice the well-being of millions for political posturing? Can we afford to ignore the interconnectedness of food security and healthcare access? The clock is ticking and the consequences of inaction are devastatingly clear. What do you think? Is the current political stalemate justifiable? Or is it a betrayal of the most vulnerable among us?